Hello, welcome to the Mad Batter channel. My name's Chris. If you find this video interesting and or useful, perhaps you'll consider giving it a like and possibly subscribing to the channel, which will be a great help. Many thanks. I'm recording this video as of mid-November 2022, and of course most of Europe is now heading into winter. Nature is closing down, plants dying off, leaves falling off the trees. A rather sad time of year in my view. Of course there is the compensation of some beautiful autumnal colours in the trees, and I've seen quite a few videos recently where people have sought to enhance those autumnal colours. I prefer spring, when everything's springing back to life, and I therefore thought it might be a fun idea to take an autumnal picture and convert it into a spring scene using the colour control in Luminar Neo. So that's what we're going to do today. So here we are in Luminar Neo with a nice autumnal scene, and what we want to do is convert all these yellows, oranges and reds to green. It shouldn't be too difficult with the yellows because they're quite close to green on the colour wheel, but it's going to be a bit more difficult with these bright red colours up here at the back. So the first thing we need to do is tone down the brightness and saturation of these yellows, oranges and reds, which is far too strong, and once they're converted to green will look out of place compared to the conifers at the top and the bottom. So we'll go into colour and we'll reduce the overall saturation by about -10 and vibrance by about -20. We'll then go into HSL, and first of all in the hue take red, orange, yellow and green all to +100 as a first step in getting the colours right. We'll then go into saturation and reduce the yellows to about -30 and the greens to about -50. And then in luminance again we'll take the yellow and green down to about -10. So that's the first step in getting towards green colours and getting rid of the excess brightness and saturation. Now of course these changes affect the whole of the image, whereas we only want them to apply to the autumnal colours. So we need to go in and do some masking, brush mask, 100% soft, full strength. Use the right bracket key to make the brush bigger, and then just paint over the autumnal colours. Of course one of the problems with Luminar Neo is that you can't mask by reference to colour or luminance, so one's restricted to using a brush in circumstances like this, but we are where we are. So that's covered most, I think, of the colours. Make the brush a bit smaller, left bracket, right square bracket key, and cover these bits up here. And then in order to give a softer edge to the mask, we'll take the brush strength down, make it a bit bigger, and then just go over the edge of the mask so we get a smoother transition. So now you can see we only changing the colours, autumnal colours. So then we need to go into the mask and copy the mask for future tools. So we finished with our first use of colour. Now I want to open another version of colour, and again we'll go into HSL, into the hue tab, and yet again take red, orange, green and yellow all to +100, And then in the saturation tab, I want to reduce the red and orange to -100 to lessen the red tinges up here at the top. What of course I forgot was to paste the mast into this adjustment. You can see the trees, conifer trees, are looking decidedly unhealthy, so we'll paste in the mask. So, and you can see we're only affecting the autumnal coloured trees. So now you can see the progress we've made. We've got rid of a lot of the orange and yellows, but those reds still don't look right. And the best way to tackle that is to go into colour harmony and then the colour balance tool. So here in shadows, we're going to go -30 towards cyan, greens +30, and yellows -35. Then in midtones, again cyan -30, greens about +25, and a small amount -10 in yellow. And then finally in highlights, cyan -20, greens +25, and yellows -10. So you can see we've got a heavy bias towards cyan away from red. Now, as you can see, the picture looks pretty horrible at the moment, so we need to mask now. So we're going to brush masking and paint, and what we need to do is to catch all these red bits up the top. And down here. Try and get rid of all the red. And you'll also see that a lot of the conifer trees are looking a bit brown, as you might expect in autumn, but not in spring. So if we go over these as well, you get rid of all the brown without making the green too obvious. So I think we've got rid of most of the browny hues down here. Still a bit up here and there. Okay, I think that's probably about right for colour harmony. So now we need to do one or two global finishing touches, and we'll do that in the develop tool. First of all, we're going to take highlights way down, and we'll bring up shadows to about 30, and then to get the overall colour looking about right, we'll go into the colour, and then temperature will take down cooler -20, tint towards the green quite a lot, about -40, and we'll reduce saturation to about -15. So that sort of brought the whole thing together, give it a better overall look. So that's our spring view. So that's where we started, and now it has a much more greeny, fresh look to it. If I'm perfectly honest, I think the light green colours need to be reduced in both saturation and brightness a little, but in order to keep this video to a reasonable length, I won't do it here. In my next video, I'll show you how to convert this effect into a preset for use in Neo on other images, and also how to imitate the effect of the preset opacity or strength slider, which has disappeared in recent updates to Luminar Neo. And further, I'll also show you how to take this image and create a preset for use in Photoshop. In the meantime, many thanks for watching.